Hi everyone and welcome back to Chef Seats. Today we're going to be making one of my Italian favorites, Spaghetti Carbonara. This traditional Italian dish based out of Rome is so simple and easy to prepare and only takes a few minutes. Of course, just like always, only thing we're going to need are a few simple ingredients. So, let's get started. To start this recipe, I like to get all my knife work taken care of. First of all, we're just going to trim up some bacon. Yes, my favorite bacon. We can just cut this into small little dices. Slice them lengthwise, and just turn it to the side and cut it into little dices. Now it's not imperative that we have small cuts of the bacon, but I just think that it goes better eating the dish a little more evenly. So if you like, you can cut it into large pieces. That's totally fine. And just cut away, make sure your finger's back. We're going to zoom in a little bit so I can show you how I get the dices. Here we go. So, right here, set it down, slide it back. Small, nice little dice. Make sure you have a nice sharp knife. It'll help out a lot. Turn it to the side just like before. And nice little dice. So here for this recipe, I'm actually using applewood smoked bacon. I really like the flavor and I think it's going to accent this dish quite nicely. There we go. Let's set that aside. All that bacon. Lovely. After the bacon, we can just quite simply grab some of our Parmesan cheese and our microplane and grate it. I prefer using this microplane because it makes it very fine and it helps blend the pasta with the yolk and the Parmesan cheese very nice and evenly. There we are. If you don't have that, a typical cheese grater is just fine, totally fine. To finish up our knife work, let's just grab some of these chives. This is going to be for garnish, so you don't have to do this, but I think it's also going to add a really nice flavor, little oniony flavor. And give it a small little chop. Chop, 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 fingers back. Let's zoom in. And if you've been following my videos lately, I know that you've probably been getting a hang of this and probably familiar with this now. There we are. Now let's quite simply just separate the yolks from the whites. There we are. Crack it in half. Use one shell. It'll catch all the yolk and all the white will fall off. So there we are. So crack it on its edge and see how all the white just zooms off. Nice and easy. It uses like its own little cup so you don't gotta get your fingers dirty. Also be careful that none of the shell falls into it. You could save those whites for making a meringue if you like for dessert. And for the last one, I like to use the entire egg. The white is gonna, there we are, add a little bit of moisture to it to the sauce. I'll just quite simply beat our eggs together. There we are, a little mixeroo. After we have our eggs all beaten together, only thing we need to do to make the sauce is add the Parmesan cheese. It's quite simple. That's it, guys. Pasta carbonara sauce, ready made. And this is going to take a little bit of work, but gently mix this together, get it moving, and you might want to mix it for a good minute just to make it really nice and smooth. There we are. Nice. Now with the saute pan over medium heat, let's just render our bacon. We all know how long it takes to cook bacon, so let's be gentle and patient and enjoy the smell that it creates all over the house. Now when I cook my bacon and it starts cooking quite alive and aggressively, I start to tend to turn the heat down and cook it really slow. It can take me up to like 10 minutes to cook my bacon, just so that it's all nice and evenly crispy and really flavorful. And gently mix it here and there, a little more. And now when our bacon gets really nice and crispy, you can see, just like that, there we are. Only thing we need to do is strain it off. There, all of it in there. A little piece of paper towel, that will catch all the fat. And it's okay to leave a little bit left in the pan, because we're actually going to mix the pasta and the yolk and the whole sauce and everything in that flavorful pan. Meantime, let's have a large pot of salted water and we could toss our spaghetti right on in. And when we put our spaghetti in, make sure we give it a good mix. Make sure it gets all distributed. And you don't want to just put your spaghetti in and walk away. Every once in a while, come back to it and give it a good mix again. You could mix it about like 3 times during your cooking process. And when it's nice and al dente, usually a minute before what the packet says, I like to strain it off. There we are. Now let's add our yolk and Parmesan cheese mixture right on into this. And we have to make sure that we continuously mix this because we don't want to make scrambled eggs. the residual heat from the pasta cooking, it's just going to keep cooking the yolks, and it's going to get really nice and creamy, and it's going to get thick and rich, and oh man, this is going to be so fun. I'm really enjoying this process right here. So I'm showing you the whole thing right here so you understand the importance of mixing it, and just stay at it. Mind you, this pan is not on any heat. There's no heat below it, so it's just the residual heat of the pasta which is going to cook the sauce. Then you see I add the bacon into it, mix that around, let's get it all nice and evenly distributed, because hey, who doesn't like bacon, right? And of course, traditionally, black cracked black pepper, add to it. There you are. Be quite generous with this. And mix it all around again. If you feel that your sauce is getting too thick, it's totally fine if you want to add a little bit of the pasta water into the pan and just thin it out a little bit. That's totally fine. But I think since we used one white, it'll help it keep it nice and thin. There we go. Man, let's take a whiff of that. Yes, bacon pasta carbonara. Let's plate it up. So right here, just spin your pasta around and try to build a little bit of height in it. There you go. Make sure you get some tongs. It'll help you out as well. And spin it around again. Try to build it up. Make it fun when you're plating, you know? I know it's just spaghetti, but hey, spaghetti's good times. Fresh grated Parmesan cheese, a little bit more. Why not? A little bit more of our bacon on top of that. Some of our chopped chives that we chopped up earlier. And this is chef's seats. Let's add some caviar on top of this. Why not? If you can't get it, it's totally fine. Don't worry about it. We're just having fun here. There, a little bit more on top. And of course, a little more cracked black pepper. Well folks, there you have it. I'm really excited to share with you my spaghetti carbonara recipe. And here's a recipe as following. I'm really excited to hear all the feedback that I get, and if you did any changes, tell me all about it. I want to know. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.